In many ways, Israel is a land full of power women. In 1969, Israel became the third country in the world to be led by a female prime minister. And today, 23% of the Israeli Knesset is made up of women. That's even higher than the female representation in the United States Senate and House of Representatives. While Israel is in many ways a world leader in women's rights, there are still some major gaps in the nation's gender equality, especially when it comes to the workplace. So how are Israelis fighting gender inequality in the labor market? I headed over to a special event in Tel Aviv to find out. We're here at the Fair Shared Conference in Tel Aviv to learn about how Israel is working to improve gender equality. Let's go check it out.
The conference discusses the intersection of city urbanism, city policies, public policies of cities and so on, with gender equality. This year we will talk about education and about workplaces and promoting gender equality in workplaces.
On average, women in Israel earn less than men do, but despite lots of social setbacks, women actually outpace men when it comes to education. 48% of Israeli women have 13 or more years of schooling, compared to 45% of men. You would think all the extra schooling would lead to higher wages among women in Israel, yet gender inequality in the labor market remains stubbornly high. In 2013, Israel's working women earned 68% of what Israeli men did, and the poverty rate among women was 2% higher than among men. So why is this a case? Ol Seri is responsible for gender policy at the Tel Aviv municipality, and she says it has a lot to do with who's in charge.
Policies and the key positions, management positions, are still mostly held by men. Women have joined the workforce relatively not that long ago, and equality takes time. And I think since the key positions are mostly held by men, and people tend to like more people who are like themselves, men tend to promote men and to prefer men and so on.
The good news is that it looks like things are changing as the government takes more initiative to promote women's rights.
In 2015, this was the first year that each office of the government made gender budgeting, examined about 30-40% of the budget of the office from gender perspective to see how gender equality can be improved using the budget.
The number of women in leadership positions also seems to be improving.
In the middle level of management, we now have 51% women and 49% men, which is quite nice. We have, in the municipality, there are 60% of the workers are women, so we're more or less equal, at least in the middle level.
There's still work to do when it comes to making sure women occupy more high-level executive positions in the workforce. Only 25% of the top-level management positions are made up by women, but Or thinks that will change.
The solution is not individual, but it's systematic. So workplaces have the responsibility to pay equal wages to men and women, and to examine the gaps and to be aware of the fact that there are gaps, and just do their best in order to correct the gaps. I think it's a reachable vision. I think I'll be able to see it in Israel in the next few years, is to have a more tolerant, pluralistic society, which gives equal opportunities and the maximal opportunities for each boy and girl, regardless of their religion or origin or, sexual orientation or whatever.
After all, gender equality and women's rights are everybody's issue, right? Tel Aviv Mayor Ron Huldai seems to think so. Why should Israeli people care about gender equality?
Because all men has to be bothered about the issue.
Israelis around the country seem to be taking initiative to get rid of the gender gap and make sure that women have the ability to succeed in life just as much as their male counterparts.
We are Israeli. We prove change. We want changes in our life. We don't accept everything the way it is.
Hopefully that Israeli need for change will promote gender equality in Israel. This is Natasha Kirchuk reporting for ILTV.